Thanks for tuning in to the highlights from Day 3 of the 2023 Project Edward Week of Action. In this programme, we'll be with our road trip crews in London, Birmingham and Manchester. First though, let's hear from Jeremy Phillips, Head of Road User Safety at National Highways, and talk first of all about the importance of technology.
Technology development is a key interest across the entire operation of the organisation, and whether that's to manage efficient traffic flow, whether that's preparing for a future of connected and autonomous vehicles, whether that's about maximising the data that we capture and being innovative in the way that we use it, or indeed technology that makes an immediate impact on safety. So within my own group, the Road User Safety Group, for example, what that looks like is in very recent terms is the mobile camera systems that we recently commissioned to detect mobile phone and seatbelt misuse. Because unfortunately, distraction and seatbelt non-compliance are still big factors for us in both collision causation and outcome severity. And these units, these mobile units, which use artificial intelligence to interpret what's actually going on in the vehicle, they're part of our response to being supportive and helping drivers understand the risk that they're taking and to help them to adopt safer behaviours.
Now, you mentioned earlier about the areas of the safe system over which you have control, but you don't have control over every kind of component of the safe system. For example, you're not an enforcement agency. But tell us how you support enforcement on the network.
Yeah, sure. We see ourselves in the safe system context, we see ourselves as a safe system operator. So like everybody else in the industry, we're still kind of working through what an operational safe system approach actually looks like. But part of our thinking around this is that we see ourselves being active in all pillars of the system. Now in safe roads, we're actually the deliverer. We have unique responsibility in that respect. But in terms of safe people, vehicles, speeds, post-collision response, our role is there as an enabler, as a motivator and a supporter. And that principle extends to the way in which we support our colleagues in enforcement agencies. So right now, we've got a huge program of work in this space, actually. We're supporting the National Roads Policing Review, developing new approaches to network intelligence to help us to understand where on the network we should be investing resource and what types of behaviours, what types of non-compliance issues we should be targeting. We're investing in new approaches to motorcycle safety and to light commercial vehicle safety. In terms of technology development, we also support enforcement agencies there. So I've mentioned our work on phone and seatbelt detection, but also we've done trials on technology for detecting close following. Which again is something that will support the police in being able to do work which otherwise they may not be able to do. And we're also being very inventive in the way in which we use data and expanding our kind of thinking on what enforcement and compliance actually looks like. So a project like Operator Ping, which is still very much in its experimental stage, what that's doing is looking at supplying data directly to companies to help them to manage what may be unsafe behaviour in an occupational health and safety setting. So supporting good behaviour and supporting compliance isn't always through enforcement agencies, but they're obviously a big part of our landscape.
Jeremy Phillips from National Highways. Without further ado, let's catch up with Ian Greenman and Keenan Lloyd-Adams and find out where their road trip has taken them today.
Hi guys, Keenan here with Car 2 on Day 3 of Project Edward. Here we are in Birmingham New Street. How exciting. Hopefully we're going to have some interesting conversations about seatbelts and the seat community, cultural impacts on road safety. We've got some firefighters. Here we go, Day 3, let's get it.
Devinder Singh Bahl from Sikh Channel. Really pleased to be here today supporting Project Edward, such an important message, and really pleased to be here to support this important campaign. Yes, there can be some hesitancy wearing a seatbelt for rear seat passengers, and that's a particular message that we want to give to our viewers, the importance of wearing the seatbelt, not just for the driver and the front seat passenger, but particularly for rear seat passengers. It can help prevent so many injuries and accidents. There are about 750,000 Sikhs across the UK, and more of them are now becoming cyclists. So I think the road safety message is particularly important, and therefore the work of Project Edward is very important. And we'd like to support you from Sikh Channel and help to get that message across to everybody about road safety. As you said, the 5 elements of road safety which we need to be aware of are very important. and they're here on the Project Edward website, and people can see that for further information.
Oh, Devinder was very inspirational. I'm grateful that we had that conversation. Now we're going to hear from National Highways, our sponsor for Project Edward.
Yeah, my name's Wayne Carey. I work for National Highways. I'm currently their head of stakeholder engagement. I think it's really an important incentive, to be fair. That's why we're glad to be one of the main sponsors of Project Edward, and road safety should be important to everybody.
With some of the stats, like for example, 95% of road collisions are human error. What do you think we can accomplish as Project Edward to put these videos on social media and keep people up to date on road safety?
I think education and informing people that is a stat, if you know what I mean, and it is. If there's an incident, if it's human error, you can control that and you can be trained to a decent level.
There you go, guys. Day 3 done. Thank you, Birmingham. Thank you to Devinder for those nice insights in the Sikh community. And thank you to Wayne from National Highways. They're help sponsoring Project Edward this week. We are creating some amazing content and we've got a couple days left. Let's go. See you in the next one.
Thanks to Keenan and Ian for that report. Now our second road trip report comes from Darren Lindsay, who's been out and about on the streets of the capital.
We're here in Romford and we have the delight of being again with the Met Police, and we're going to have 2 exercises today. The first one will be this morning of going out with the team to see what we discover when it comes to the Fatal 4. In the afternoon we'll have a more static event, and we're going to head out, I believe, to the A12 and work with one of the groups out there just to find out what is happening when it comes to safer speeds in and around London.
At the moment, as goes across the country, we're looking at, throughout the whole of the country, 1,500 deaths a year, which is approximately 5 deaths a day. And as you say, that we have stagnated. The trend historically is we've been reducing the number of people that have been killed or seriously injured on the roads. And one of our focuses is on the Fatal 4, again, which is a UK thing. So we're looking at safer speeds. We're looking at drivers' distractions through mobile phones, drink or drug drive, so if people are driving under the influence, and also seatbelts. So they're the 4 main focuses that we tackle on a day-to-day basis. In relation to speed, there's numerous options that we're putting in place. I know the Mayor's Vision Zero plan at the moment, we're looking at trying to reduce the numbers of vehicles on the road and trying to encourage people to use other forms of transport, whether that'll be public transport or push bike or e-bike or even e-scooter, in order to reduce the likelihood of being killed or seriously injured.
So my name's Adam. I'm one of the sergeants on the North East Traffic Command. I've been here about 3 years now. We patrol in a variety of ways. A lot of our arterial roads have got average speed cameras, which do a lot of enforcement around the east in particular. We have a lot of static speed cameras in our 20-mile-an-hour zones, particularly around Tower Hamlets, on the highway, all the sort of busy roads that take you into town. We've got a marked van that we send out with staffed by PCSOs, which has got a Pro Laser device in it to record speed. The local Safer Neighbourhoods team will sometimes do speed watch events with community, and then they'll stop and engage with people that might be straying over the speed limit and sort of issue education to people, as well as enforcement. We've got a lot of 20-mile-per-hour speed limits now. Generally speaking, during the day, we don't have a big problem with speed on the more urban areas, because the speed is governed by the traffic flow and how quickly you can travel on that road. Not to say there isn't a problem on all of the roads, but certainly on most of them, particularly during your busy hours, rush hours, etc., you don't have the opportunity to speed, so there's little we can do to enforce any speed limits because it needs not doing. Particularly around the Shoreditch areas where there's a lot of 20-mile-per-hour areas, day or night, you can't move for traffic around there and it governs itself.
Darren Lindsay with the Metropolitan Police in London. Our final road trip report today comes from the Greater Manchester Fire and Rescue Training Centre, which played host to our road trip crew of Stuart Lovett and Sophie Bailey.
Day 3 of the Northern Road Trip. We're here in Bury, Greater Manchester Fire and Rescue Safety Training Centre. So we're here with Transport for Greater Manchester and other parts such as Road Pigs. It's going to be a very interesting day, so we're looking forward to engaging with other parts.
Yeah, this is a Bury Training Safety Centre. It's not been built too long, actually. It's fairly new. We use it for school visits, we use it for training, operational training. We're using it for the first time for this event today, which we're quite excited about, because we've got, as you see, the road and we've got the shops. We've got the Core London Road, so it's got the feel of a street, sounds of a street. So it gives us all that realism of the environment that you could be in. We use this for a lot of school visits, so children come, get split up into groups, they go around the safety centre, they see this place, they have their own safety input.
Full-on week of road safety activity, one way or another across the country. We've obviously got Project Edward and Orange Road Peace, the national charity Road and Crash Victims, and Road to Peace do just that, provide a support service to bereaved families and road crash victims. So we've been around for 30 years now, and very, very invaluable service. Very small team, but do an awful lot.
And the week of action so far that I've seen is absolutely fantastic. It's great to see so much support from lots of organisations that are in the world of road safety, but also support from the general public. And I think that's what Project Edward is all about, making sure the public are aware of the key messages that we're all trying to raise to get out there.
Stuart and Sophie in Greater Manchester, and we'll follow it with a look at the latest social media picture, courtesy of Neil Dewson-Smith.
Social media update for day 3 for Project Edward. Really great day once again. Loads of great support from our partners, our sponsors, many of our supporters. Lots and lots of content going out there and people using the Project Edward hashtag. Thank you. Only one tweet for Wednesday that really stood out, and that's the St Joseph's Catholic Primary School in Loftus, Cleveland. Very simple message, but a great photograph attached to the tweet of the young children who have been creating posters for the Project Edward campaign. Busy in their classroom doing work in support of Project Edward, and it's so vitally important that young people, whichever form of mobility they use now and in the future, is that they are fully aware and conscious of the dangers and risks on the road early on, which makes them better road users into the future, which increases safer roads. So St Joseph's Catholic Primary School in Loftus, Cleveland, they get the tweet of the day. Otherwise, fantastic day. Looking forward to day.
Thanks to Neil Dewson-Smith, whose report brings this edition to a close. Do tune in as we have 2 more programmes to share during this 2023 Week of Action. But goodbye for now.